Good afternoon and welcome. Today we're here to solicit public input for Shared Services Initiatives Plan, and we're required to submit this plan to the Albany County Legislature by 1 August, which everyone knows is tomorrow. In order to comply with the state mandate initiative, we have solicited the input of all municipalities and school districts in the county. But is this an opportunity to engage with the panel to discuss things that you feel in the community that we should be looking at to consolidate in the future? I also want to thank the school, Rockefeller government, to give us the opportunity to work with them, but really help us meet this deadline, because it's been kind of a crunch time. We're in the fourth quarter, we're on the goal line, and everything's a learning opportunity for us here. And the learning opportunity means that we're going to put a great plan together to go forward to meet the September 15th deadline. But also, we're going to be more in tune next year to really get more people involved and to get more input and to really have a much broader plan in the future. So at this point in time, I want to welcome Mary to the podium to introduce everyone, and I look forward to the engagement that we're going to have. Mary.
Good afternoon. So as the county executive said, this has been a culmination of a plan and a working plan with the Rockefeller Institute. And the Rockefeller Institute will be leading this public hearing today. I'm going to introduce everyone that is up here on the dais so that you know who everyone is. The gentleman sitting immediately to my left is from the county executive's office, Mike McLaughlin, our senior policy analyst. We have to his left, Jim Malatras, the president of the Rockefeller Institute. Deputy County Executive Phil Calderon is to his left. We have Matt Cannon from our County Executive's office, who is the Economic Development Project Manager. And Tom Centrino, who is a research consultant working with the Rockefeller Institute. And with that, I will turn over the microphone to Jim.
Good afternoon. The part for us today is easy. We get to listen, which is an important component of this. Thank you to the county executive for hosting the event and putting up with our incessant questions, requests for data, and phone calls at all hours of the day. And then to our local representatives who are here, like Supervisor Clarkson and others, thank you. So really how we envision this is a listening session as we finalize the draft plan. There's been many areas that the local municipalities and school districts, we've talked to every local government and school district in the county, and then plenty of follow-up back and forth, is to focus on areas that we think could result in not just taxpayer savings, but shared services to provide better government services to the community. And the county executive's office and the county executive himself has been great in this effort. They've been steadfast in helping us to put together the best plan. And just briefly, because we're not finalized yet, because we're here to listen to you, we're looking at several areas. One is greater shared personnel and equipment. That's one area that there's been a lot of interest raised from the governments themselves. A second area is shared purchasing. Albany County and the local municipalities like sharing of personnel and equipment already do a pretty phenomenal job with joint purchasing, but there's a lot more activity that we think could be done there. A third area that we're focused on is energy efficiencies and energy savings. It's one of the greatest cost drivers to local governments, in fact, to government or actually to homeowners. And there's a lot of new exciting programs in the state that we've been examining that other counties and municipalities have been doing. And in fact, we want to take some of the issues that the municipalities and school districts in Albany County themselves have done and bring that to scale in a bigger level. And then the final is other overhead costs like healthcare, workers' compensation, and those issues. We're still working through many of those issues. Healthcare is a very complicated matter. As Tom Centrino has been helping us knows, he's probably more about this than anybody. So those are some of the general areas that we're trying to work on now. And we'd like to turn it over to you to see what else you think we should be focused on looking at as we sort of proceed through this process. So
Yes, and I want to add my appreciation to the Rockefeller Institute along with county executives for the very hard, terrific work that they've been doing in assisting us in putting this plan together. One note, the county executive mentioned that there is a filing requirement tomorrow, August 1st. It's a filing requirement for the plan to be filed with the county legislature for their review and recommendation. The final plan, which will have to be certified by the county executive, the deadline date for that is September 15th. So we will have at least 2 more public hearings in addition to this hearing, where we will be asking for public testimony from members of the public, civic leaders, labor leaders, community leaders, and the like, to give their input, as Jim indicated, on how they would like to see municipalities within the county work together to share services, ultimately to save taxpayers' dollars for efficiencies in providing services. So that's what today's public hearing is about, and why we have a stenographer here who's taking stenographic minutes of this meeting. It's so that we have your testimony on the record, so that as we go back and work with the Rockefeller Institute and the county executive and the legislature and members of the shared task force to put this plan together, we're reviewing your concerns and your issues. Thank you. So if anyone who has anything that they would like to offer as a suggestion, please come up and identify yourself.
I feel like I'm on the dance floor all by myself. Just looking for a partner. An uncomfortable prom, you know? Sir.
Paul Miller, I live at 115 Avon Street, Albany, New York. One concern I have, and you haven't really gotten into consolidation services, but I know that that's one of the things that's been talked about, and if there is something in the plan about that, I'm very concerned that it doesn't involve layoff of staff, and also you look into maintaining benefits that the particular municipalities may have if you start consolidating, particularly if you start consolidating some of the towns into the county. I'm not recommending that, but I've heard that kicked around, read it in the newspaper. I just want to make sure that gets addressed in the plan.
Thank you. Just to that point, thank you for raising that. That is one of the issues that many that we've talked to also raised as a thing, and what the county executive directed us to do was to ensure that we focus on the things that don't result in layoffs or those types of things. There's a lot of other things to focus on, so that was directed from the county executive too. We want to protect the workforce and benefits, so that was one of the things that we were directed to.
Yeah, you must have.
No, we've discussed everything. That's why I don't have anything to say, because we've had the phone conversations and, gave our input on everything. So I came to listen today.
The mayor's being kind. They listened, and there was actually very good discussions, I think. It actually ended up being very valuable to have all the municipal leaders and school districts involved, participating in this process, because it's yielding good results. There's a lot of things people don't think about on day-to-day management of government, that there's a lot of wisdom offered, which was helpful to us.
Well, a lot of the municipalities have been working together for a very, very long time, and with our county executive. And it's kind of a repeat. We're almost being punished for having done good things all along. We don't have any fat left to trim. So we're down to bare bones. So it's a benefit to the ones who haven't tightened their belt, but it doesn't do us much good.
Anyone else?
Any comments from April?
Supervisor Clarkson, anyone?
Hopefully the next 2 meetings go a little better.
Well, this is not unusual. You know, the other counties have had public hearings that have had the same result. In fact, many counties, Saratoga had a public hearing and nobody showed up, so not even anybody in the audience.
I think if we actually saw the plan before the meeting today,
People would
we'd
have,
probably be having more comments, but
and that is likely to happen for the next 2
For the
public
next
hearings.
2. But we thought it would be fair to solicit input
yeah.
and to listen to people's concerns before we deliver the project.
That was, yeah, why not the plan today? A lot of municipalities were upset by some of the other process. I can say that those when no one showed up. They thought it was preordained, and really we do want to hear from what folks have to say. That's why we reached out to you, right? Like, what do I, they get on the ground. So this was a way for citizens to really have a chance to say, don't tell us what it should be, this is what it should be, neighbor protection.
I'm Randy Bashman from Town Burn.
I'm sorry, could you
Oh, I'm
come up to the microphone so we can actually hear you? Thank you.
What was your name again, sir?
Randy Bashman, Town Burn Highway Superintendent. I guess my question is, how comes the highway superintendents weren't involved in any of this, this process, just the supervisors?
So I'll answer that for the county's the law says it has to be the chief executive officers, and that was one part, but the real issue is time. The law was passed, and I think we began in the middle of May. It's not in August yet, so that's not a lot of time to really get your hands dirty and really talk to everybody. If we had our brothers, we take a longer period of time to talk to everybody. I think the part of what makes this work is to really reach into the local governments themselves and see what's going on. What we relied on, but like the mayor said, there's been so much work done from the county and local municipal leaders already that you had a solid foundation. When other counties were really falling down, you guys already had done a lot, so which was really enormously helpful to us. And that makes me rely then on your supervisors and mayors to say, this is what we talked about, because we just didn't have a lot of time.
I personally think that we should have made time for this. This is kind of an important decision for one person to make that decision for a town. In my situation up there in Bern, obviously we have a situation where somebody wants to do the shared services and delete the town highway department. So I just feel that it should have been brought up to the superintendents also, because we are elected to, and we have a position to take care of the roads. So
We're going forward, right? This is the beginning of a process, not the end of the process, right? You didn't have a report yet, so that.
And on that issue, if you wanted to speak about maybe the edit, you know that came to the supervisors in the past about merging the Bern highway department, county highway department. So if you have an opinion on that, that's something you would like to hear on the record. Sure.
my opinion is it wouldn't work. We have too many dirt roads up there. We have different materials, different hours we work. Roads are different sizes. You know, we've been doing shared services for years. I mean, my uncle was supervisor with the county for 40-some years, and my other uncle was highway superintendent for town of Gilderland. I remember them doing shared services when I was a kid. So it's not something new that just popped up out of the air. They've been doing this forever. So, I mean, my opinion is it's not going to work.
Mainly because of the type of work is different.
Right,
Is that fair?
right. Shared service is one thing, merger is completely different. Everybody seems to keep getting that mixed up. You know, shared service. Well, okay, that's fine. We've been doing that, but merger is something totally different.
Mr. Aquarian, you had one over here. Anyone else? It's very lonely to stick me up at the table by myself.
We're all right behind you.
Yeah, notice he said behind.
Yeah.
Just to give you, to Jim's point about the amount of work that's required in terms of data to be collected, the statute provides the timeline. So it's not that we're setting August 1st as the deadline, it's statutory. And in that timeline, it also requires us to reach out to a variety of groups and organizations and municipal entities. For example, the statute requires us to reach out to every collective bargaining unit in every municipality within the county's jurisdiction, as well as labor organizations in general within the county that aren't part of any municipal government. So it's an enormous number of contacts that we have to make and reach out to in order to put this plan together. So no one's hopefully trying to overlook anyone. Your opinion is important. It's why these kinds of hearings are valuable. So they're an important point like the one you just made is going to be taken into consideration.
All right, well, as Tom mentioned, this isn't necessarily a wholly unexpected result. So for those of you who are kind enough to come and join us, I realize you were hoping for a little more to listen to. Unfortunately, that won't be the case. But we will be here for the next hour or so. Somebody will be here with the stenographer to record any testimony or input that we can incorporate and consider in our plan. There will also be, as the Deputy County Executive mentioned earlier in his statements, there will be, at this time there's required 3 hearings. This is one of them, and we wanted one to take place before the finalization of the plan. The plan will be submitted to the legislature tomorrow. We will have 2 more hearings. They have been scheduled for Monday and Tuesday of next week. Mary, I'm sorry. First will be 5:30 in Colony at the Crossings, and the second on Tuesday will be at the same time, 5:30 at Town of Bethlehem Town Hall. So we hope to have a robust turnout and public comment at those locations, and of course, you folks are more than welcome to join us at those hearings as well. Hopefully with a little bit more to listen to. So that's what we have for you today.
And we planned those other hearings to actually get an outline of the plan itself. But again, as I indicated, at this particular hearing, we thought it was important to listen to the testimony. Thank you.
Just a quick clerical question. Will the town get a copy of the plan?
Yes, once it's finalized, we were waiting for this, but yes, there will be a distribution to the panel members. Yes.
Thank you. My name is Gary Salisbury from the town of Knox, and just kind of further what Randy was saying.
Don't be shy.
I just wanted to say kind of the same thing Randy was saying. I understand the time thing, but I think it's really important that the highway superintendents have a lot more input to this. Even though we're tied in, with the supervisors, whatever, until you're doing the job hands-on, you really don't know. And I'm very familiar with the county's procedures. I actually worked there for a short time, and I'm not saying it's bad or good, but their road work is very micromanaged from the top, and it makes a huge difference when you're out there every day, hands-on. And it would be really sad if somebody made a decision on what just the supervisor said without the highway superintendents having some input. Because we're the ones that do it every day. Thanks.
I don't think I need to go up there because I'm going to be brief, but I agree with both of these gentlemen, just for the record.
Thank you. Right. Thank you. We're going to pay it back here, and we'll be here for now. Thanks.
Do you need this name?
Vasilios
Make it up.